Shouts out. BR4 TV, Alexander Burns, Monster Cody, Life NP, Native Pride, Josh, the Great Four, Mario Cox, RC the third, no, my bad. The 3D Color 12. Hey, it leaks, man. Just call me Fat Man, bro. You know who you are, man. Life MP, man. RC Unks, man. Again, the great man, full man. I appreciate y'all got on chiming in, man. Hit your boy, man. Giving me some feedback on that last video, man. First and foremost, man, before I start, man, like, subscribe, share, man, comment, man. Hit me in the comments, man. Hey, hype the video. Hype me up, man. Hey, it's not going to cost you one Japanese yen. I know it's been a minute since y'all seen this ugly mug on this TV show, on your screen, man. But, man, honestly, man, no lie, man. Your boy been sick, but I was down bad, man. I'm talking about that bubble goods, man. I don't know what I ate, man. You know, I had to change my diet, trying to lose weight and be in better health and whatnot. In the process, when you change your diet, sometimes you will incorporate the wrong foods into the changing of your diet, meaning like foods that you was eating at one point in time before. Had a family reunion. I ain't saying that where the food came from, but it was like afterwards I might have been eating outside the normal or how I've been eating. And I don't know, man, I got hooked for something. I don't know what it was, but yeah, your boy felt the pizza for sure. You know what I mean? And I ate, but I bounced back, and now I'm back. And I said, hell of high water, man, I'm gonna make sure I do a goddamn episode. So here it is. So I'm gonna tell y'all about that time, bro, that, you know what I mean, the CERT team the CERT team came in our dorm, did the P-test, and snatched the P-cup out of my hand. Now, before I get into the story, you know, as usual, I always tell people, you know, try to give an open monologue to understand, like, you know, the message that I'm trying to actually goddamn put forth on this YouTube platform. So, basically, at the point in time that it happened, up to the point in time that really I was about to do this video, and I started getting some thought into doing the video, that, you know, accountability is a thing that you got to take fault in. You like to say, man, hey, man, what part did I play into creating this situation that I was in? So basically, when I look back at it, I allowed myself to be in a situation to make it seem like that I'm part of something that I wasn't, without anybody ever holding a conversation with you or talking to you. Sometimes you could be in a situation and you allow yourself to be in that situation, although you feel like you ain't participating in it, that you good because you ain't doing, you know what I mean? You are not participating. You know what I'm saying? Basically what I'm saying is basically like, hey, man, I'm going back to the hood. I'm going to stay and chill out here in front of the trap. And what these dudes got going on, I don't have nothing to do with. But you always consistently being over there. And you don't know who watching these guys, what going on with these dudes. You know what I mean? These just the homies. You know what I'm saying? And you go over there, you just kick it, and you might just be around them for the festivities. Meaning, you know, in trap, you know, you're going to have all type of random chick popping up. You might even make one that you kind of got done dig. You want to got done, yeah, with a, but you got to understand, just because you ain't participating, other people ain't perceiving it, it's their way. So when they do the raid and knock the goddamn trap out, and just so happen that you are there, they ain't gonna have no understanding in the situation. The understanding that you were never part of what they had going on. You just happen to be there. But yet still, you're gonna have to carry that charge all the same. And go through the walkthrough, even if them folk like, nah, home ain't got, you know what I mean? It's still on the goddamn, it's still in the hands of the devil or the people, the goddamn, to see how they gonna play it. And the whole entire time, you got to take accountability for the fact that you allowing yourself to be in that situation. So this is one of those situations that I was talking about. I'm talking about. We in Frank Scott. So I had this partner of mine, you know what I mean? Me and him actually was on Leesburg together when I first met him. Now, he had a bus partner that was down in ALTO with me as well. You know what I mean? But me and him ran across each other in Leesburg. And a lot of the time, we just talked to each other just in passing and whatnot. Now, this dude that I'm speaking on, his daddy was like a prominent figure in Atlanta, like his father was. And his daddy had like an infamous, famous club that was in Atlanta. I'm not going to say the name of the club, but it was infamous. It is part of the Atlanta lore. And it dates all the way back to the Miami boys being in Atlanta. I'm talking about it was a prominent club. And that was his daddy, like that's his father. So, and he had his father's last name. But for the sake of YouTube and the fact that I haven't spoken to him, then I'm just gonna call him Lil C. So yeah, me and this dude Lil C, like I said, we was in Leesburg together. Well, I got transferred up to Frank Scott. He came to Frank Scott. This was after I had witnessed Holly C. Got into it with the big dude. You had to go back and check that video out. Me versus the Green Mile. And I got moved back down to Ingram Building. And I had the last Frank Scott video I did. My bunkmate tried to goddamn set me up when he had when I had a little situation with this dude who had thrown these drugs, and the police had seen him doing it, and they still tried to get me involved in it. And you know what I mean? I had to make some vicious threats to him because at that point in time, I'm trying to go get out, bro. I got to play. And I feel like this play gonna come through because everything I've been hearing was good up to that point. This is significant to the story. Not realizing I got away on that, meaning like dude on up to his dirt. I'm talking about them four had me packed up down there, finna get the coach sheet, finna go through the whole little thing. In my mind, I'm thinking I'm finna catch another charge. And the play I got is over with. It's over with. But I got spared. So when I moved in, after that situation right there, I had worked my ones and two. It got me moved out the TV room, which is the sport TV room. I got a one-man bunk on the backside of the dormitory. Lil C was he slept in one like them two-man rooms. And when I say a two-man room, meaning like the room didn't have a door to it. And I slept past where he slept at. That dorm was big as hell. But anyway, where I slept, it was a one-man bunk, bottom bunk. So you one-man bunk. I mean, you won't have to feel nobody getting up in the bed shaking and everything like that. And at the back of the dormitory, ain't nothing but some old people back there. It always quiet. I mean, the perfect place for me to do the rest of my time. Guess what I do though? I wanted to venture out or the boredom in the everyday thing about prison. Now, Lil C, he used to like to play basketball as well. Good dude, man. I'm gonna say this about him before I go on the phone, because I don't want no misinterpretation that he's the bad guy in this. He's not. He's one of the better people that I ran across in my life, meaning like as a person. Like he always had this little boyish smile about him, man. No matter what was going on with this dude, man, you can threaten him and he'll still have that same look on his face. Like he has some wolf in him. You know what I mean? You can tell that he had that wolf in him. You know what I mean? He's from a prominent spot in Atlanta. You know what I mean? In Zone 3. And he was one of those ones from them. But the way that he carried himself wasn't on no bully type stuff. He's not a big person. Let's start that right there. He's not a big person. But you can tell that I'm on whatever you own. You know what I mean? But yeah. But just because I had knew his butt plot, and when I knew him from Leesburg, familiarity bring across a fresh. So I used to pull up on me every now and then, kick it, voodoo, then the third, ha ha, we would laugh, joke. I move on about my business. So one day I was coming down the hallway and he had a roommate, dude named Twin. Twin was standing in front of the doorway. Now, when I walked down, it was probably about 3 o'clock. It was on a weekend, 3 in the afternoon. And I'm going down toward the TV room, but I said I'm going to stop by and holler at my partner, Lil C. Twin got done, he sitting in front of the door like he playing goddamn bodyguard. Now, I knew Twin and I knew Lil C. We spoke to each other. We were kicking and laugh like that up, but it was never a long, drawn-out conversation. Also, was another dude in that name, I'm just going to call him Lewis. Me and Lewis knew each other from ALTO. And how him and Lil C got cool, I do not know. But yeah, I might see goddaughter Lewis down there as well. And I might stop doing, like I said, I holler him. But this particular day, I walked past and I seen like Twins standing outside the room. Now, I'm gonna explain to you how the rooms look. It's just 2 bunks right across from adjacent to each other. Like not adjacent to each other, but separate bunks. Like right beside each other. And the locker box is set right there in the middle, I want to say. I think that's how it was. But yeah. I walked past, like I said, Buddy standing outside like he playing security. And I said, oh man, shit, Lil C gonna stay his ass in the bed all day? Twin, like, he just looked at him like, and shook and did like this, huh? And I kept it moving. You know what I mean? Man, tell the nigga get up. That's what I said as I walked past. I come back down the hallway, probably about an hour or 2 later. You know what I mean? It's about around count time. That's what I had. Came back down. Now let's see it's up. You know what I mean? It's count time. He's standing up in the doorway. He said, hey, D, you come back by, holler at me, boy. You know what I mean? I know Twin said you try to come holler at me. I said, well, I was just speaking. He said, nah, sorry. If you come back and holler at me, I need to holler at you about something anyway. I didn't think about it. I just went on about my business. At the count, and the people walked out, count cleared, I walked back down into the room. When I walk into the room, he's the same thing that he was doing then, like up on the bed. Now, mind you, he was creating a tent with his head and his leg was up like it's a tent. And I said, this nigga done told me to holler at him, and then he gonna get back in the bed, man. What's wrong with him? But Twin is sitting up on the bed, like on the edge of his bed. And he'll get up here, he'll peeking out, stuff like this. Hey, man, what the police at? I said, shit, I guess at the front of the dome. I said, man, why the man told me to come holler at him? And he's still in the bed. You know what I mean? He's like, hold up. And when I said that, Shawty pulled the bedspread up and did like telling me, come here. I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? He's like, come here, man, sit down right there, man. I said, hey, man, listen, man, I ain't telling you about why you got going on, man. You all up under, man. I don't know what you got going on, man. You over there playing with yourself or something, man. What you got going on? He busts out like, man, come on, man. Sit down, man, on the bed, man. Boom. He's 8 Twin. Hey, watch the door. So he go watch the door. I said, bro, what you got going on for real? Now, at this point, my curiosity just got going to the roof. Now my tank ain't spider sensor had kicked in. Because like I said, dude, super dude, solid dude. Like, I ain't never seen him on nothing flower, period, at all. You know what I'm saying? He stayed fresh. He keep the J's. He got the Jordans and all that stuff like that. So I knew he got some move. He got some motion going on. Because a lot of the stuff that was going on, his name came back too. And he like, you need it? He pulled out the cell phone. He got the phone. Now, you probably saying all that for a phone. You got to understand, bro. This is like 2006, 2007. Phone wasn't something that was going on, popping in prison at that point in time. Like, man, it wasn't something that was just a norm, how it is now. We're talking about track phones, bro. The flip phone. You know what I mean? These are the real deal back in the day, you know, the flip phone, stuff like that. And this what was going on the street. Heard about it, never seen one. And this was the first time I ever seen the phone. He handed it to me. He like, but you need this here? I'm looking at the phone, but this shit like a spaceship to a dude like myself. Cause when I left the street, the only thing dude had that was the brick phone. And but you gonna be a bad joker to get one of those up in that thing, my guy. Whoa, you gonna be a bad, you know what I mean? And the brick phone. Now, when I was in ALTO, it was rumored that a dude had a cell phone in there, but it was like the flip phone, but the phone was still about this big. How he got it, I do not know. And I promise you I don't know. Because there were a few ways you could have actually got it in there, unless you caught your officer to bring it in, which he probably had did. I don't know, but that was rumored. I never seen that phone. This was the first time that I had ever seen a phone a person had on him. He said, like that. And I like, man, who the hell I'm going to call? Now, okay, at the point in time, and I pray that sometimes I know they go and check out my videos and stuff like that. The point in time, my cousins was either in the feds or in the state. My folk was they, you know what I mean? Feds or state, not, I don't have no contact with them. So I don't have any phone numbers. Like, bro, who I'm gonna call? I ain't gonna call my mama on this, because I already know how this conversation gonna go. You don't need to be, you don't need to be using no cell phone, and y'all don't supposed to have them. You gonna mess up your opportunity and your chance to come home playing around on the phone. I don't mind paying that phone bill. If you need to talk to me, you can talk to me on that phone. That's how that conversation gonna go. So I'm not, most definitely not calling goddamn Big D's mama. No, sir, not her. No, sir. Follow the rules, shout it. That's what she is right now. You know what I mean? I promise you. So I'm like, bro, I really don't even, I ain't got nobody to call. I've been in too long. Like, you know what I mean? Because at the point in time, like, I've been out 15 years. Like, bro, I ain't, you know what I mean? 14, almost 15. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I ain't, who I'm gonna call? You know what I'm saying? Shit. Call my lawyer. You know what I mean? That's it. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, nah, you know what I'm saying? But you still can use it. You know what I mean? And he started pulling up like little videos that had got sent to the phone. So it's a little farther off than the track phone, but this is the first time I ever seen the phone. And he like, man, go ahead, check it out. So I guess one of the homies on the street sending him like little, at this point in time, it's like little clips. It's not no full movie. You can't see a whole movie on the screen only so big. You know what I mean? But it'd be like little clips and stuff like that. Girls on there shaking their booty head. You know what I mean? You see old goddamn, you know, breasts and of such things. You know what I mean? Of sorts. You know, in prison, man, that's big, boy. Back then, that's big, boy. That's about one step from the act. Cause you know what I'm saying, I haven't seen that since I first came in and we had HBO and Cinemax, but that's another story for another time. Just get back to it. So now I am infatuated. Like that, he said, man, you just use the phone, goddamn, anytime you want to pull up, I ain't got it, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you get a number, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But you can use it because I know Shawty been gone for a minute, you know what I mean? And I'm like, shit, that what's happening, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't ask for this, him. I was never coming around here for that type of stuff. I came around here because I generally liked it to do. You know what I'm saying? More than I liked the bus partner. But I'll tell y'all that story about how I had an issue with his man bus partner behind something that was basically all my fault is in this story. Back to this story, though. So he did that for me. So over time, I still would pull up on him. He would like, get the phone, like, yeah, Shawty, don't take the phone, man. I know you want to use it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, want to use it for what? Man, go in there and goddamn use videos and stuff like that. It's like, hey, man, you got a point. You know what I mean? Some motions are better than no motion. You know what I mean? Now, Home had motion. He had big boy motion. Now, over time, me and Twin ended up kicking it a lot. Me and Lewis, we already was always cool from ALTO. We was always cool from ALTO. He was just one of them young dudes. He came in. When he came in, he was in the juvenile brown stripes. I done worked the range a couple of times. He was a little bit different than a lot of them other dudes. Like he was always thoughtful. Matter of fact, bro, outside now, he doing magnificent. Magnificent. He's seeing the world. He don't even stay in the States no more. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, he stay in the United Kingdom, bro. Like, and I'm proud of that, bro. You know what I mean? Because he took an adversity and turned it into a goddamn, opportunity. And that's one thing I can say. You have brothers that get out of prison that do that. You know what I'm saying? Who don't fall to the wayside. But back to the story, like I said. And the thing is, though, like I said, I used to pull up on him, and he still used to give me the phone and stuff like that. So I eventually had got one of my younger cousins' number. You know what I mean? And I wish I could tell you how I was able to get that up out of Mom Dukes without making her internals go up. But I got his number. I called him. You know what I mean? No, I know how I got it because he had came over and I told him on the phone, like, hey, Shawty, give me your phone number. You know what I mean? And I called him. He didn't pick up at the point in time. I called him again, and I called him back to back. He picked up the second time. Man, hello, who calling the phone? And I said, man, it's me, man. He said, who is me, nigga? Because at that point in time, he outside. You know what I'm saying? I said, nigga, you know who this is, nigga. Listen to the voice. He said, boy, what's up, D, man? Where's it going? And me and him would communicate. So he would send me like minutes on the phone, but me and him wouldn't have long conversation because, he outside. So he doing his thing in the street. So at the point in time. And, so that what made me start being able to use the phone. Now, I put minutes on the phone. I don't even use the phone. Normally, I'm like, hey, Shaw, send me a 15-minute card. And you know what I mean? A $15 card, which is, you know what I mean? That's how you pay for the phone minutes at that point in time. And, I put the minutes on there. He's like, bro, you want to use the phone? I'm like, nah, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, why you putting all these minutes? Because he might put a 25. If I tell him 15, this nigga going to put 50 minutes, $50 worth of minutes on there. I promise you. And I wouldn't even keep a track of it. You know what I mean? But Shawty would make sure, like, he'll burn them up, but he put minutes on there too, because he had a little chick that was working in the prison. So that's how he kept it motion. Of course, in prison, anything a person does, man, it eventually gonna seep outside of the area that they're in, because eyes and ears are always open. People say, mind your business. And most of the time, that is a good philosophy. If a person is in prison, mind your business, man. And don't owe nobody no money. Those top two things you need to know. But does that always translate to what's really going on? No. People are always looking and paying attention to what's going on, whether they say something or not. And sometimes the wrong people might see it, and there it is. So I pull up one time. Hold up, before I tell you him, I'm gonna tell you another thing about the seat. Sometime, every now and then, that he would get besides himself. When I say besides himself, by him being the guy with the emotion, he feel like he's leading something. He's running a situation. He's on top of a situation. So he will start ordering people that he was using to move whatever he had going on, product, which was the gas. He had the gas. He had, I'm talking about for real. And Lewis took exception to it. Not just that fact that he started realizing the Shawty was being a little bit more reckless. Now, Lewis was younger than me, years younger than me. He came years after I did. So a lot of time I be the one who begin the advice, but you can never get to the point where you cannot hear or listen or heed to another person's advice, no matter what age they are. He come to me one time and he said, and I took it as because he had said something that was foul, Lewis one time, you know what I mean? Like, it was, I can't quite remember what it was, but Shawty took exception to it. So, but it was like, man, I ain't rocking with that no more. So he stopped coming around. And he was telling me, like, bro, like, man, you don't need to be in that situation. You know what I mean? Then third, you know what I'm saying? You know, because I had explained to him what I had going on. And I like, man, I ain't doing that. I just, you know what I mean? I just pull up, holler at it. You know what I mean? But I had started pulling up a little bit more because of the phone situation. Not because I was using the fucking phone, you know what I mean? But because it became a convenience to me. Something new to me that I never had opportunity to take advantage of. And plus, you know what I'm saying, right along with the minutes that Cub put on the phone, Cub was goddamn looking out in other ways as well. He was sending me shoes if I asked for him. He was sending me stuff. He would put me on things that I couldn't get through Mom Dukes. You know what I mean? Because like when I was at ALTO, I had a little bit more freedom of movement, but it was not on cell phone. I was able to make a phone call or see them in visitation. When I see them in visitation, I tell them, say, hey, look, I need you to send some money to such and such, 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 you know what I mean, for the shoe. And she would do it. But as far as going somewhere else, I never had that opportunity. But now I got opportunity because I'm getting in contact with people. And Shawty was like, bro, you know, if you're trying to make a move, bust a move, you can tell your folk, pull up on my folk, and you just go in on what I got going on. You know what I mean? My mule to bring it in for you. But I was like, no, Shawty, I ain't trying to get involved in that. But Lewis was telling me, like, bro, you might want to separate yourself from that. And I took it as that he probably was still in his feeling behind what Shawty was saying. But maybe, just maybe, he knew. And he seen what I should have seen. You know what I mean? Insight. You know what I mean? You can see something finna happen. If you just pay attention to it. You can tell the signs are right there in front of you. A lot of time we try to ignore it. We don't pay it no attention. We continue on doing what we always been doing because we feel like, hey, I'm not doing what you think I'm doing or I'm part of something. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You can see the situation for the fall. You trying to sugarcoat it because you getting something out of it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, they're gonna end up being, they're gonna fall on top of you. You're gonna be the one to be punished for it. Now, at this point in time, he said that, like I said, I thought he was in his feeling. I remember one time I walked into the room. I told him, you smelled it like soon I hit the walkway, the hallway. It's like, I'm gonna explain to you the dormitory real fast. I'm gonna be real fast with it. You had the front door, had a whole bunch of single man roll boom. Then you had the TV room where I used to sleep at. And the TV room had a movie room and a sport TV, and it goes around like in a U. And then, but if you bust that left, you got a whole bunch of two-man bunks leading all the way back to where I slept at. And the two-man cell was on the opposite side of the, it's like a skid row, then on the opposite side with the two-man cell, which was like 4 of them. When you bend that corner, you take that left, you going back to where I sleep at, which is on the back side, which is a whole nother area. I smell it. It smells like somebody is blowing it down. You know what I mean? I'm talking about it smell like, I said, God darn. I said, man, these folks smoking like this hell. But you would smell it though in there. You know what I mean? But a lot of times dudes be making sure like, because it's an open dormitory, they would try to fan stuff, try to goddamn blow, keep an eye on the police and everything. I don't see nobody in the cut blowing. I just smell it. So I'm thinking they might be back in the back. I said, but they taking some chances back there with them old heads, because the old heads get irritated and they'll slide a kite on you, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm sorry, man. Hey, man, you the old dude that was in prison, man. A lot of times y'all do, y'all feel like, man, y'all disturbing my bed, bro. I put this kite on you, homie. You know what I mean? I need to make you move around, Joe. You know what I mean? Move around, Joe. I come down, and when I'm smelling, I see twins standing in front of the door like that. And I'm looking at him, so I start going over that welfare to speak to him. I keep getting louder and louder. And twin like, man, D, he like him, tell him come on in. like that. But I wasn't coming to holler at Lil C. I just gonna go by and say something between because I was on my mission. And he like, you know what I mean? He said, come on in, come on in. So I step into the room. This man got 2 pounds of the gas bust open on the bed. They sacking up. And how you sack up is when you trying to move that stuff like that. So we use like them kitchen gloves. And kitchen gloves are like plastic gloves. You know what I mean? And you'll take a finger off and you fill it up. And that's how you sacking it up. So that's what he's doing. He's sacking up like that. And, you know, he busting down the pound. Then I walk in, I'm looking like, Shao, do you think like this is a good idea, man? Like, why would you like in front of me like, man, them niggas ain't gonna do nothing, folks. You know what I mean? He said, as long as I'm feeding the dome, they ain't gonna touch me. Wrong. You're wrong. Wrong. Because somebody gonna feel like they want more than what you give it. It's just how it works, man. I got stories on it, and I'm gonna tell a story about it. But sometimes people, when you think you feeding somebody, they ain't gonna be good with the meal. They want the whole pot. They want everything that you got. They want the refrigerator. They don't want what you giving them out the refrigerator. They want the whole entire refrigerator. They want to be on top. Jealousy, envy bring about all type of deceit, lies, stories, and double cross, triple cross, and all that. Especially in prison, it always like that. It always gonna be like that. Anyway, moving forward, I like, all right, Charlie, whatever you say, man. I'm like, man, I'm gonna get up out of here. Like they said, by you, he hit the glove, hand it to me, say, man, go get you some money. He smiling though. He got that boy smiling. Like, shout out. I said, nigga, I don't need no money. I'm straight. He's like, I know it. He said, man, you don't smoke? No, you don't smoke. Look, you ain't got to give me nothing for it, Shawty. That's you. You know what I mean? And he throw it to me. I catch it. I throw it right back. I said, bro, you know I told you about the play, man. I said, I ain't finna fuck that up. Nobody. You know what I mean? So I ain't smoking. I ain't got no doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? And we sit there and chop it up for a minute. I pop out the room. When I pop out the room, I see an older white dude. He's looking. He's sitting on the bed. He looking like, I move on. I'm not thinking about it. This is a lot of this stuff is coming back to me at the time of the situation, right along with up to now. You know what I mean? In all these years, I never forget this, man, because it made me change a lot of how I thought and how I think and the way I move now. You know what I mean? But I keep it moving. Boom. Time go on. I still pull up in the room, still doing that, using the phone, chopping it up, and he's still doing what he's doing. Like I said, he getting more and more reckless and stuff like that. One day we in the dorm. I hear the 13. What's like? It's 13 on the door. Boom. It's like they try to get you when you're not expecting. So late at night, a lot of times people already knew they'll pull that move. This time they hit me. They hit film like that morning, like around the inspection. 13 come in. Boom. All the officers come in. They should shake the whole dormitory down. I'm talking about, buddy, they kick in the door. They telling them, y'all get up against the wall, get up against the wall. Nobody move, nobody move. Now, I'm going to explain something to you. At this point in time, I was doing a very, 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 very poor job with being hydrated. I would drink sodas, juice, very little water. When they kicked the door in, we had just came from rec. I used to absolutely love to go to rec and play basketball, especially if they run the gym. So if they run the gym, you best believe BD is going to be on somebody's basketball court and messing up the game. You know what I mean? Like I tell people, man, I hit that jumper. I got the slowest crossover in America. You know what I mean? I get back, get down, and hit the little fake fall away. But I am not a hooper. I just used to love to do it because I don't like to use that for my cardio. You know what I mean? Running down the court. I'm decent. Don't get me wrong. I'm decent. But I'm not no basketball player. You know what I mean? I'm not going to make Division 4A got no Division 4A got no basketball team. I promise you, in my prime. Well, before I got older, you know what I mean? I probably could have been athletic. But anyway, past all that. I had a poor goddamn. I was very poor at taking care of my hygiene. I mean, not the hygiene. I'm tripping. Drinking. Don't y'all say that. You said hygiene, man. You wouldn't bathe. But now, seriously, I didn't drink enough water. Like, seriously, I didn't. You know what I mean? I'm telling you this here because it's significant to the story. So we come back in. It was just right after we had came back gym when they ran up in the dormitory. Did just like I said, they ambushed us. Like most people think it's over with, inspection over with, yada yada, everything cool, kosher, calm. You know what I mean? The rest of the day finna be laid back. You know what I mean? But they keep their dough in. When they came in there, doing all that hooping and hollering, beating up people in the floor, what's like the first thing I thought was Lil C. Like, damn, shawty. Over there and pop the phone, yada yada, woo woo. And I looked there, he's like, nah, I'm good, I keep it up. Unless old girl come on, you know what I'm saying? Or the right officer. And he would tell me, like, but we got the wrong folks on, you hit a third shift. Or something like that if I wanted to use the phone. You know what I mean? He would be cautious about what police was on. And the little chick that he used to deal with, she worked out in dormitory, so he know everything was free go. Even when he was busting down that pound, Shawty was working the dawn, which was crazy to me because really putting heat on her because she come in, all this bullshit goes on. But anyway, past that. Like I said, they come up in there, man. They got doing their thing. They throw deals and stuff like that. So what made it look obvious was because they called me, Twin, and about 10 dudes, and all these dudes were circulating around Lil C, including myself. But when they called me, what the hell they calling me for? They telling us to go in there and take a urinalysis. Out of the 10, Lil C beat it, Twin beat it. Most of the dudes beat it, about 3 dudes get roped off. Me, I can't urinate because, like I said, I just can't. It would not come out. Now I'm starting to get paranoid. So now I'm drinking water. So like, hey man, come on, man. You need to come on, man. Come on. So the dude's like, man, go ahead, shop, go ahead. You know what I mean? Like, what you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to use the bathroom, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Woo whoop, then in the third. Like, I literally can't, like, I'm trying to duck it, but I'm not trying to duck it. But in the midst of me thinking like they are not piss testing everybody, it just seems like it's the same people. And I'm like, wait a minute. I done been targeted for something that I'm not even part of. So now I'm trying to prove them wrong. Like, bro, I'm going to beat the chair because I don't smoke. I don't do nothing. You know what I mean? You don't shut down my locker. You tore my locker down. You went through the whole act with everybody else. My locker is ramshack. Like, you don't tore it down. So I know my name don't came across somebody's kite. I cannot urinate. This goes on probably about 35, 40 minutes. Now, prior to them walking up in the dormitory, I had just urinated. I had just literally had peed right before when they kicked the door in. So it's like 35, 40 minutes later. Now, if I stayed properly hydrated, I probably could have mustered up something out of me. But by me not being properly hydrated, hey, man, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So I'm drinking water. So dude like, hey, man, you gonna quit drinking all that water, man. Now, anybody who knows this about trying to pass a urinate test, people would drink water upon water upon water upon water in the hope that it would dilute their urine. But what people do not know is if you don't get that first pee out, then everything else don't matter. You know what I mean? Be like, you know what I'm saying? Because if you get the first one out, there's a chance that you don't diluted it enough to get past the urinalysis in the minds of the people that was locked up. But yeah, but that's why the dude was like, hey man, you gonna quit drinking all that water, trying to dilute the pee. But now I'm trying to explain to him like, I can't pee. I just literally just peed like, you know what I mean? Like 25, 30 minutes before y'all walked in. This is the point now. Now, when I walk into the bathroom to go pee this time, now mind you, the CERT team is standing in there. So you got one dude right here looking at your penis. Another dude right here looking at your penis. You got this cup in your hand. These folk playing security, standing outside, making sure nobody I don't know what you're doing. Like, I guess you're trying to make somebody don't throw no pee on top of my head and give me a bag or something. But they're watching me like this, which is making me even more paranoid and paranoid because I'm already paranoid. You know what I mean? I'm already to that point. Seriously. You know what I mean? Like, being in prison would do that to you. I don't like people to be standing in my personal space. I hate that with a passion. But I'm standing up. I can't urinate. I tell them something, look, man, I can feel it coming to a point. I said, give me a little bit more time. The 13 dude said, nah, you don't have enough time. He reached over and snatched the cup out my hand. I got the urine cup in my hand. He snatched it out my hand and said, he's over with you. And he threw it on the floor. Cuff him up. He refused to pee. I said, I ain't refusing that. Yes, you did. He cuffed me up. At that point, mind you, I'm thinking I got this plate. And all that is going out the window. In my mind, all of that is no longer available to me. Everything started flashing across my mind. What I could have did different, what I did wrong. Man, who's snitching at him, man? These niggas voodoo and third. I feel like God tests you. Not God, you know what I mean? But God allowed the devil to test you. Test your resolve. Test who you are. Test is you really ready to be the person that you say that you are. I think the devil, God don't know that you gonna fail because he knows everything. And the devil gonna try to reveal to God your failures. But I don't think God don't have no expectation that you're gonna fail. What God is hoping for, that you learn for those failures, that you grow from them and become a better person for that. I learned a lesson from that with moving myself from situations, regardless of how innocent it may seem to me, because the perception of others can lead to my own personal downfall. I don't go to my hood no more. Not because I got any issue with people in my hood. Not because I don't have love for my homies that I growed up with. Not because of none of those things are the things that got to deter me from going to my hood. What deters me from going to my hood is all the things that are in my hood that can inadvertently sabotage everything that I personally got going on. You know what I mean? I'm not going to show up to a party and not dance. So why is I'm at the party? To watch everybody else? You know what I mean? So this is what I'm saying. So I refuse to be in situation, put myself in another situation where people perceiving that I got something going on that I don't. And that's what it was, that whoever did that, whoever wrote that kite, whoever put my name in that situation, they were just going on the assumption that I had something dirty going on with the situation. Was I completely right in the situation? No, cell phones are contraband. But at the same time, I didn't feel like it was harming anybody, right along myself. And plus, I was getting a benefit out of it. But the truth of the matter is that if I said that I really want to go home, how much of this is I'm going to keep playing the chain gang game? I got my respect. Ain't nobody messing with my gangster. So why is goddamn being involved in something that, could be detrimental to my ultimate goal, which is to be free? But I did it. And I got this piss cup snatched up out my hand. Now I'm on the way to go down here to the hole. I get to the hole, come around the court time, I get the 14 days hold time. After I come out the hole, now I'm sitting over here talking to this lawyer, to this guy who used to work for the parole board, talking to him, trying to explain myself about why I should be free. And he's looking at my institutional record, which he had privy to, and asking me about this urinalysis that I had failed right before he came down here. And the only thing I can tell him that I got lied. They snatched the urination cup out. I'm trying to peel it, which I was. And he said, man, I hope you beat it, man, because that might hold you up. My heart dropped. I'm scared. I'm afraid that everything that I done did to sacrifice the money that been spent, the opportunity is no longer there. And I'm blaming everybody around me, especially the people who told. I even thought my partner Lewis might have told. You know what I mean? But then I'm thinking about the white guy who watched me when I walked out. I'm putting different people, different places, and different faces in place. And it could have been one of them dudes that, you know what I mean, used to come around because they didn't get out everybody. And I'm thinking about the one that they didn't get. Then you're Peter. I'm thinking about a whole bunch of different things, but the problem was that I was allowing myself to be in the midst of that, thinking that because I wasn't participating in the movement of the drugs, that I ain't in the clear. You know what I mean? I'm only doing one evil. I'm not doing all the evil. You know what I mean? One sin is not greater than the other, said the scripture. And I'm learning. And I learned a lot from that, man. Thank God, fortunately, that did not deter the people for giving me another opportunity at my freedom. Maybe that was something that I had to go through to make me understand what I could and could not allow myself to be part of once I got out. Friends are friends. I can love my homies. I love a lot of my homies. I do. You know what I mean? I pray for them and hope the best for them. Some of them are still in their life. I refuse to goddamn be associated on or around it in any type of form or fashion. And I refuse to have somebody have an assumption and a perception that I am. That including with dudes I was in prison with and everything. If I see you out here on the street, I speak to you. I don't mean that I think I'm better than you. I think you less than. I got love for you. But if I can see that you are still in the situation or in the life, yeah, I will kind of back out for you. I will peel back because I'm more conscientious of my own personal safety and freedom. You know what I mean? I want the best for you, but you got to want for yourself more than I do. Want for you. So, hey man, look, I see you in class. I see you in the club. I see you in the spot. I see you out and about. Boy, what's that? You dap it up. What's up? Boy, drink on me. Get that drink. Pew! your boy gonna be ghost. Because I refuse to allow myself to be seen in the circumstances that I'm involved in, whatever you got going on. Not that like I said. And I hope y'all take time out to check this video out and get to this part because I want you to be clear about something, bro. That you got to be conscious of your movement, conscious of the people that you're around, conscious of the places and the things that you are doing and the people that you are doing them with. Because sometimes when you think it's just innocent and you know that this person got things going on and you still allowing yourself to be in that circle, around in that circle, you can be targeted just as well as them. And it don't have to be the police. You know what I'm saying? It could be enemies that this person got going on because you ain't in the street, so you don't know his situation. You don't know what type of goddamn time he been on of the people that around, people that he don't affect that looking at him in a negative mindset and a negative light, who want to do some harm to him. Sometimes when they feel like they can't get him, they get the next thing closer to him to send a message. Be careful, bro. Be careful. But you know what? None of that would have happened. I wouldn't have never got done being in that situation in the first place. I'd have had my own cell phone on the street legally. I wouldn't have been sitting there watching nobody break down 2 bags of gas in the prison. I wouldn't have got the P cup snatched up out of my hand. I wouldn't have got such a whole did 14 whole days whole time and I ain't smoked a seed. If I did one thing, to stay my black ass out of prison. Don't make the same choice and decision I did end up in that situation. Till next time, the homie Big D. Like, subscribe, share. It's not gonna cost you one Japanese yen. Hype your boy up, man. Don't do it like that. One love.